Welcome, everyone, to episode 33 of the official podcast for Guardian 1, a Destiny group dedicated to the prosperity of Guardians everywhere. We broadcast live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I am joined by River.
This is Hollow River. This is a recording. Leave a message.
Beep.
Beep.
Crimson Warlock.
Podcast time, everybody.
Jez.
Good morning.
And Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
We are going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, Hologram River with the news. Housekeeping.
Yeah, let me hit you with the news right here. All right, thank you to everyone who is joining us in the Twitch chat today. We do appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1net. That's G1NET. And just a reminder, the Twitter account is the only instance where we use the number 1. So again, that's G1NET. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. You can also send us feedback to our email, feedback@guardian1.net. We also have a Bungie.net forums group that's currently at 138 members. If you want to join, just search for the group name Guardian 1. Guardian 1 has its own clan, so if you want to join the Guardian 1 clan, just select the buttons that say set as PlayStation clan or set as Xbox clan after you join the group. We do utilize the forums for comments and feedback, so be sure to leave a comment down there. We'll be sure to check it out for you. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the show live, you can always go to the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at Guardians of D and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guardian Radio. Other podcasts include Warlock School, TTL Party Chat. What's that? I'm losing it now.
This is not the pre-recorded
Robust
Hollow
Radio.
This is Hollow River.
DOD. And the, what is it? Ghosts and Echoes. There we go. All finished.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
So the big exciting news, that everyone has been waiting for, and I kind of want to just get right out of the gate with, because this is important, is Vault Space. Let's dig right into Vault Space. They're upgrading it from 20 of each to 24 armor, 36 in weapons, and then 24 in random items. Is this enough, River? Have you even been battling Vault Space, or what's going on with that with you?
Well, I think we'll probably get to the statistics later, but the only thing I've really been having a problem keeping Vault Space with is the other category.
Yeah.
With shaders and the shards and crap like that. Weapons and armor, I have plenty of Vault Space. I don't even think I have it filled up halfway on either of them.
Crazy. So what do you have in your other? Do you actually keep ships and shaders in there?
Yeah. If I'm ever feeling froggy, I'll probably bust out with I don't know, that purple shader or something. I don't really like it that much. Or some other shader I don't really like that much.
Jester Apogee? Is that the one you're talking?
Oh, gross. That's so gross.
Isn't that the purple one? Oh, you're talking about Provincial Royale. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I don't care. But
it's
again,
all about rose gold.
Jeez.
And
I think I have the pink one. I have that pink one that's in there just in case, I ever needed to bust out with the Breast Cancer Awareness Month again.
Awesome. That sounds pretty good. What about you, Crimson Warlock? Is Vault Space a big deal to you? And is this enough of a big deal to you?
I like the fact that they're not quite doubling it, but almost, because if you have 3 characters with this new Vault Space, you can now hold 75 guns. between all of your characters and the vault space, which is really nice. The armor and stuff's never been an issue for me, but the other space definitely for shaders and for all the general items will be very welcome, because I do actually find myself running out of room for that stuff myself. So increases and everything is nice, but I just have to say, darn you, old gen stuff, for limiting us even more.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely hear that. I almost feel like the addition of 4 spaces in armor and items is just it's just not enough. It's just not enough. Like, I understand that there's limitations, but then then I look at this and I have no idea how they made the forge in Halo Reach, because that whole area was so huge and you could do a limitless. Like, I just don't understand why they can't display that many things. You would think that these would just be icons that wouldn't necessarily be linked to anything other than another image. You know?
Well, what I don't understand too is why they don't kind of copy your the way the inventory is, and have armor as its own separate tab that you tab through in the vault, and weapons its own separate tab, and then increase the size that way. That's what I was hoping to see as a solution, but that's not what we're getting.
Nope. Although I am glad. I am glad.
How do you move through the menus?
You would you just tab through like you do when you're in your menus.
Yeah,
So
but I'm saying you use the shoulder buttons
Yeah.
the shoulder buttons to go around in your menus, right?
Yeah, so you open up the vault and it defaults on weapons or something, and you hit one of your
Mhm.
bumpers, you go to armor, you hit another one, you go to general, and then that has 72 slots for each of those pages or something. Like that's what I wish was the solution we got, but maybe they weren't able to make another menu system.
I'll say my piece once everybody's said theirs.
Jez, what do you think about this vault space? Is it enough? Does it matter to you?
Well, because most of the focus is on the weapons, and that's the only part that I had issues with. When I had one of each class, because having 3 of one class actually fills up all your tabs much quicker, I find. But having more weapons is probably the long run more effective way to do it, because your armor's not going to upgrade as far as we know, but your weapons so far will.
I see what you're saying. That makes sense. Agrios.
Well, I need more vault space. Yeah, I mean, I'm thrilled that we're getting more vault space. I understand the limitations they're going through, but I would happily sacrifice whatever functionality, as in like comparing items from the vault. If I really want to, if that's what's holding them back, take that away. I'm happy to. If I really want to compare an item, I'll just pull it into my inventory and compare it to my items there. I don't think that's a huge deal. And if we're sacrificing a lot of things like space for that, like I said, I'd happily give that up. I would really be happy. Like I'm along. I think along the lines of Crimson there, that I think they could have just done it in its own individual tab. Like, just put armor up, just put weapons up, just put materials up. You could even just have a screen between. You click on the vault and then you choose armor, weapons, or other, and then it takes you into that full sheet of items for that, and then you don't have to compete with different categories and types of items and stacks of things and whatever else is limiting them on the old gen systems.
Yeah, what a bummer that is. But I don't know. I see a lot of people asking the question: do you think that Bungie should ditch the older generation for Destiny 2? And I'm pretty certain that that's exactly what's going to happen. I can't imagine that. It just doesn't make sense to me, with the generation winding down. I don't know. So I'm excited to hear this. River, say your piece.
Okay. So I know everyone really might be disappointed with the amount of vault space that we have, but as far as what goes into, what Bungie's trying to let everybody know is that whenever they try to add something into this game, it's definitely going to have some sort of unseen effect that's going to happen elsewhere in the game. And that could mean just about anything. Destiny itself is a technical achievement because they were able to take all these different things that we like in like a single player game or a multiplayer game and kind of mesh it together. This is some of the things that we just don't see in any console game, frankly, and ever, in my opinion. It's no one's really done something like this before. This is why we're seeing all kinds of bugs that are coming out with the game, and why it seems like that Bungie's trying isn't trying hard enough, or is too slow with some of the fixes that they're putting out. They're trying to take these baby steps to make sure that what they're going to put out isn't going to necessarily harm you as a player. I'm losing my train of thought on this one, but trying to program this kind of stuff is hard. Like they said, they kind of make it look easy, and some of the demands that people really want may not be easy to implement as you may first think. I just want to
check
put
this
that
out
there.
Check this out. This is I think I'd make good management at Bungie, and this comes from being in the trenches. All right, so one of my first jobs ever was an overnight receiver at Walmart. Like, I was those guys that would unload the trucks and then put the stock out on the freight out on the floor. And I oftentimes did like the toilet paper section. And oftentimes there was much more boxes than there was space on the shelves. And I'd call my manager over and I'd say, "Hey, what do you want me to do about this?" And you know what he would say to me? He would say, "Make it happen." And this is what I would be telling these people at Bungie right now. I would look at them and they would say to me, "Oh, Last Generation is really holding us back." And I would look them square in the eye and I would say, "Make it happen." because let's make it happen. You know, we're doing something awesome here. Let's do this. And so I will totally give them that Last Generation is holding them back, but they really need to. They constantly sold Destiny as a 100% next generation game, and constantly over and over we're being reminded that, well, there's limitations because of this older generation. So how can it be at the same time this is a totally next generation game, and also we're being held back by the Last Generation? So I don't know. Make it happen. I am super excited about this. Adding 16 slots to the weapons is going to be a beautiful breath of fresh air, but I feel like it's a short-lived victory. You know, like,
yeah, and I want to bring up something that Sharks says in the chat. A lot of it's, how many exotics is House of Wolves going to have? And if you have all the exotics from the original and from the Dark Below, is 16 slots really that much extra? If you want to get all those exotics, how fast is that going to fill up?
So do we know how many exotics are coming with this House of Wolves? How many came out with Dark Below? Anyone?
Don't know offhand.
I want to say for PlayStation 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's about 5 weapons, and I can't really recall how many armor pieces.
Gotcha. So, I mean, it can't be. There's no way they're adding 16 new exotics. In this. How many exotics are there right now in total? Anyone? Well, all right then.
Yeah, I don't know offhand that either.
There's close to 20 if you're on PlayStation.
I think 21.
Got it.
Oh,
Got it.
Here's the other thing I want to add just before we continue on. The more gear that we get, that means the more icons we're going to have, and that's more stuff that needs to be displayed within our vault. As we're going to get even more vault space, because that's inevitable, we're going to keep on getting even more vault space. That's just more stuff for your console to display, and more chances for stuff to get to go haywire in the game. Just saying.
Continue.
Go. I was just going to say, one of the harder problems of making it happen is they're working with 4 separate pieces of architecture.
That's right.
No, I mean, PlayStation 4 is, I'm just gonna say, the main platform that Destiny was developed on, and then the other three consoles are ports. But although all four of those are different architectures, and some things probably just don't translate well from PlayStation 4 to even PlayStation 3, and so they're having to rethink every step for every solution that they find to get it to work on all four versions.
With constant matchmaking on all the time.
Yeah. Was that the end of your thought there?
I'm just saying, I mean, you don't really see anything like that in any other game where you're constantly in matchmaking. No matter what activity you're doing, it's constantly trying to match you up with other people that are also in the same area or doing the same thing. It's taking all these different factors. It's just might break the game in this fashion.
You know what'd be funny is if what you're talking about right now was what led down to this where we are right now. Is the people in management were like, all right, imagine this: every space you go into is going to be match made in some way, shape, or form. And people were like, well, there's not enough room on these shelves. And the management just looks at them and says, make it happen.
Make it happen. Maybe that's what happened.
Right, that's exactly what happened. All right, they have too many of me there. I think that's management in general. Make it happen.
True enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about it, and it's something we're going to touch on this again in just a little bit with the with some of the information that we've got left to talk about. So why don't we just get right to the news with Agrios?
All right, so we started on the Vault Space already. That's one of the big announcements in the update this week. They came with promises of Vault Space, and promises of deadlines. They noted that this 1.1.2, bringing the Vault Space and hopefully a number of other things that we're looking forward to, will be dropping in April. So that gives us a couple Tuesdays there to choose from. Anybody care to place a bet?
Man, I don't even know.
No.
Second or third week of April, probably. Just because I would say the second or third week of April, just because this last update doesn't have something that they're going to for sure talk about next week. So it almost seems like they've talked about the major points they want to hit. But they did mention there are raid fixes going in, so maybe we'll have an update of that. But I'm going to say second or third week of April.
Jez?
Sorry, I was distracted by counting the number of exotics. I probably would hear something by the 1st of April, which would be a horrible time to announce a release date. But I'm thinking it's got to be at least late May. They've put it off so long that the release date is going to be either really the window between release date and release day, or like the release day. Yeah, that makes sense. Either has to be really short or it has to equal what we already know of the last one.
Got it. Well, whenever it shows up, it will be welcome. You know, I'm looking at this image right now that they made to illustrate what it's going to look like, and I can't help but wonder if this is either a slap in the face, all of these yellow horns in this inventory, or they're giving us a clue. They're letting us know that Zur sure is bringing it this week. But then again, you know, so that's either what it is. They're either letting you know your time is coming for those who don't have Yellowhorn yet, or, you know, suck it.
No.
So
I'll go with the latter, I think.
So what do you think it is? You think it's just random? They just picked Yellowhorn by random river? I mean, you do agree this is pointed, right? Like,
I would think it probably could be. We know this is the most sought after weapon,
Totally.
And this is what it would look like if you had a whole bunch of them.
You know what would have been cool right here is if they would have just taken a picture of each of them and put it in there. You know, like some kind of little checklist. You know, an official JPEG checklist. I think it's funny that they put 999,000 exotic shards in each of these slots. That seems a little
Alphabetically, what's the first exotic?
What do you mean?
I think it's bad juju.
There we go. Thank you. I was trying to remember. I was like, A, B, C?
Alrighty, moving on.
All right, moving on. Before we continue, Easter falls on April 5th this year, and I still think from what they were talking about, the Easter egg with the audio, the Easter egg hunt that they're putting in with the audio thing that comes in 1.1.2, that it's going to drop on April 7th, because that's the closest Tuesday to Easter, and they're sending us all on an Easter egg hunt.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Nice, actually. That's pretty nice. I like it.
So, yeah, I think that was the big clue. They dropped that. It was either the last week or the week before the weekly update when they talked about the audio improvements. I don't remember which one it was, but they talked about they were going to put that Easter egg in and there was going to be a game for us to all hunt it. Well, that just seemed suspect to me.
Wait, so you don't think there's an Easter egg audio in there?
No, I think there is. I just mean I think that was more than just something fun. I think there was a clue as to when 1.1.2 is going to drop.
Oh, okay. Just curious. I'm good.
So Bungie brought in, they brought in a bunch of Bungie developers to discuss the changes coming to the Vault and the 1.1.2. John Hobson, the user research lead, said that for example, 21% of players who are level 30 plus have 4 or fewer free vault spaces in their weapons vaults right now. The armor and general sections are slightly less full for most people, but not by much. Even at lower levels, there's a small but measurable fraction of players under level 20 who have full vaults. You could charitably think of them as collectors, or uncharitably label them pack rats. Which do you label them, and are you one?
Right. Okay. So I definitely have to definitely have to fall under the category of pack rat, just because I don't want to erase every single, green or blue item that comes my way. Some of this stuff is special. Some of it has really cool flavor text that I might want to draw upon later. Like I wish there was a way to just have access to this stuff without necessarily using it. I can't imagine a situation where I would want to equip this green armor, but I want to keep it. I want to have this suit of green armor that I've spent time collecting. That's this aspect of collecting, weapons and gear is really awesome to me. I really expected to be able to keep it maybe a little bit longer or have some place to put it. I don't know. And with this, 21% of players who are level 30 and plus have 4 or fewer free spaces. The only reason why my vault is not stacked to the brim is because I need to be able to swap gear in and out. I don't want to spend the time pulling armor and stuff out when I'm on the planet and then having to put stuff back in. That's a pain. So I always leave 3 spaces because, generally if I need something, it's going to be a set of 3 pieces of gear that I move around in some configuration. So that's why I don't have mine absolutely full. I don't know. These statistics make me sad. River, you said that the only thing that you have problems with is your other items. There is no.
Yeah. Any weapon that is not equal to or as good as what I currently have, or as far even gear too, I just freaking shard it.
Right. That's the way people are supposed to play, and by supposed to play, I mean that's how they want you to play. I feel like we talked about this last week. It's on purpose. The vault is small on purpose. I mean, we clearly see now that it's on purpose because they can't make it bigger. But I think that it's a callback to it's a callback to make the choices that you have matter. And I'm not totally against that. I just am pack rat. I am pack rat level.
So you're the pack rat, not the collector, huh?
Yeah, I'm definitely not the collector. I mean, it's the same thing basically, but I have a feeling that I am the pack rat.
No, see, I debate that. I think you're more of a collector than a packer. I'm not saying you're not a pack rat, but here's my take on it. I'd like to think I'm a collector with a heavy dose of pack rat because I'm pretty bad. But the real difference is the fact that one of the things that you and I do that make us collectors, and I'm pretty sure Jez does this too. You found a green or a blue armor set that you particularly like, so now you're trying to collect a full set of it, and you may not only that, but specific variants of that set, like a specific number to get a specific set you want, maybe. So that I'd say is the collector side of it. Then there's the pack rat side of it. That's me having this green shotgun that was my first awesome green shotgun. It's like level 4, and a level 10 hand cannon and a level 12 fusion rifle that just did me proud back in the day, and I just refused to delete them and move on. That's
Right?
where the pack rat comes in.
Okay, so totally, this is what it comes down to. Is I'm looking at this green Cydonia, and I it's just sitting in my vault, and it's green, and it's looking at me, and then I pull it out, like I look at the image of it when you inspect it, and it's an actual tool that I've used out in the wild. Like you said, it was there for you, like this is what Bungie was talking about when they said gear should be more than just something that you slop to the side just because you found a better one. Like I don't know. I really feel like when I look at it, I just can't break it down for a couple of glimmer. Like I want to hang it somewhere, I want a mantelpiece and put it over there. So when people come in, I say that thing's got me through some shit. I don't know. That's exciting. Okay, so maybe I am a collector with pack rat tendencies. Crimson Warlock, let's just say you had all of the time and length that you would get to pack rat or collector status, or you like River and you just eye on the prize. This one is better. Moving on.
I am an achievement whore at heart, and so I am definitely the collector type. I actually have the the Warlock PlayStation helmet from the original game, and I really want to get the rest of that manifold set, and I kind of want to try and get it on my Titan, but I'm like, I don't know how many thousands of hours I'm going to have to spend doing strikes to get lucky enough to get these blue pieces of armor just so I can run around with them.
Yeah.
And like right now I'm at 19 ranks for Dead Orbit, trying to get the other 2 shaders in the ship.
Wow.
But
that's impressive.
Yeah, when it comes to gear for me, like I'm a heavy collector on my raid sets for intellect and discipline builds, since there's still, for me, no really big draw for heavy strength builds yet, because I don't PvP much and stuff. Like I will raid until I can get my perfect kind of setup for my gear that way. But if I've that one exotic, I'm good. If I like a legendary gun, I'll probably just transfer it between all of my characters. So I am, but I'm not, I guess, a collector for this game. But I definitely like to get my platinums and 100% on games as often as I can.
That's cool. And speaking of that manifold set, I have the helmet and the jacket. Wait till you see the jacket. And this is the specific turning point when I start running out of room. I think to myself, I put on this jacket and I think, why would I ever delete this? It's so awesome. Have you seen it, Warlock?
I've just seen the pictures before the game was released. I haven't seen it in game to really look at it, but
it's beautiful.
I like the helmet. I think the helmet looks pretty sweet, so I can't wait to see the rest of the armor. Hopefully I can get it in the future.
The jacket the jacket has that the pocket infinity symbol like the symbol that you select on Pocket Infinity to make it do its special stuff. That it has that, but split in half and on either side of the jacket. It looks so awesome. And then another blue one I have is one of the Locust Watchers, and it looks almost exactly like the one that Joe, well, I forgot his name now, was wearing in the in the where he's holding the Thunderlord, his warlock. It's almost exactly like that jacket, and I loved that jacket. Like, that warlock always looked so cool to me. And I just can't do it. I need more than 4 additional spaces, and I guess I'll just have to live. It's just the way it is. Life is the way it is. So,
Well, and one thing that I've found about Destiny is a lot of the treasures of Destiny are blue. Some of those ships that the shipwright sells that are blue look freaking sweet.
yeah,
And some of the guns, like, they've got cool designs and stuff on them, but they're blue, so you don't hardly ever see them. But that's kind of where some of the true treasure of Destiny is in those items everyone overlooks because they might not be the best,
totally.
with quotes.
Totally. Jez, are you a pack rat or a collector in any other games? Like I know that there's only X amount of stuff you can do in Destiny, but is this something where in other games you've spent a lot of time collecting?
I want to say I'm a collector, but I'm also the type that will say, "Oh, I don't need this in my inventory right now. I'll just shove it in the bank and forget it for a year." So, I guess it's kind of also a pack rat. Like, I have legendaries that I have no reason to have in my bank right now. Like I have like a old school, like, just like a auto rifle or something that I'll never use. I just haven't had the time, or not the time, but the gumption to just delete it because I'm too busy doing something else, or I just don't want to bother with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, they should add the ability to dismantle things from the bank.
Yeah, I could see that being helpful. All right, Agrios. What else we got?
One thing I just wanted to say, I thought of while we were discussing that there. One thing I think would really help the vault space issue, and like River said, his main issue is the other category. I really think that emblems and shaders should be something that, since you get no rewards for dismantling them or anything like that, should be something that becomes attached to your account. Just like the special ones from the DLC codes and stuff like that. Well, not the DLC codes, but the codes they released on the trading cards ahead of time and whatnot. If you delete them from your inventory, you still have rights to them, and you could just go to the special delivery vendor to purchase them again for 1 glimmer or whatever like that. Because then any shaders or any emblems you're not planning on using for a long time, you can just delete them out of your inventory and buy them back when you need them to take up the space and be usable again.
Totally.
But then you could still run into the same issue that they have with the vault space over there at the whatchamacall.
That's exactly what I was just going to say, and is exactly something that I've been thinking about since the very beginning, because I collected a lot of those codes, and I have a pretty decent amount of stuff waiting at that special package vendor.
Except for the COD one, huh?
Right, except for the COD one. So lame. I'm so lame. I'm just not as Destiny hardcore as many of you out there.
One of those went for over $160 this week.
Wow.
Good night. Maybe I shouldn't have used mine. Maybe I should have got 2.
Heck, those little red sparrows are going for up to $20 a piece.
That's crazy.
You know what? Maybe I did order 2. I'll have to check.
Buried treasure. All right, so moving on. They also brought in live team lead M.E. Chung to shed some more light on their reasoning behind the changes. He says different players have different needs, but our goal is to find a solution that could deliver more vault space to the greatest number of people in the short term. Our challenge was to provide an increase in storage that fit within the memory constraints that limit how many items can be displayed on one screen. This had to be accomplished by a team who is simultaneously working on future content. We opted for making sure that players would have enough slots for all exotics from launch through House of Wolves. Thus, the largest increase in slots is for weapons. He goes on to promise that in the future they're going to have a solution for players who don't have enough space for armor and general items as well.
Perfect.
Just to let you know, M.E. Chung, she is a great person.
You heard it here
Oh.
first, unless you didn't.
Already.
I'm going to tweet her right
Moving
now.
on. They also brought in UE engineering lead Brad Fish. And he goes on to let us know that this is an interesting, perhaps the most interesting piece of information that I found from that was shared here, was that in the case of Vault expansion, it became clear that we'd be pushing the very limited memory constraints in older generational hardware. We had a choice, leave the Vault as is or find some kind of compromise to enable it safely. We weighed the options with player feedback in mind and decided to move forward with the expansion by disabling the item comparison feature within the Vault on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Item comparison will continue to function within the Vault on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and in all other contexts on all platforms. So I thought this was interesting in that they're separating their games or diverging paths finally. I mean, everything is to mirror image so much in the last gen that, we've already talked about how we felt it held back, Destiny, and, how much was it, worth it. But does this signal change for the future and upcoming updates wherein we might see the next gen Destiny evolve in different ways than the last gen versions?
Man, this is a really good point, and definitely something to point out as very interesting, because you're totally right. From the very beginning, since before it dropped, they talked a lot about making sure that the game was exactly the same across all platforms, and so you're totally right. For this to be, this will mark as a public split in what is available. But I think that I think that even the people who will be suffering from this change, which is the people on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, I think that even they will agree that this is what's best in the overall. Like, if you were to ask them, would you like more space or would you like to be able to compare weapons in the Vault? I think that this is something that would receive an overwhelming yes, I want more Vault space. But then again, going back to those numbers, apparently this is only something that, what did it say? 21% of people who are 30 and plus, and a small but measurable fraction of players under 20. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. River, do you have anything to add to this?
I was actually looking at something else. So, what was it that we were talking about?
We're talking about how this is the moment where where Bungie publicly splits off what the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 users are getting compared to what the players on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are getting. The fact that they're taking that option out to compare. This marks this is a milestone in Destiny, and so Agrios was asking if you thought that this was a signal for the future and what they might be splitting off. Because it's
Probably.
possible. It's possible that they could continue to support Destiny on the 360 and the PlayStation 3, and also have a game that's a lot different on the next gen.
Here's what I think. Yes, I do think that this might be one way for them to let you know that maybe being on last gen is not the best idea for you if you want to continue the franchise. If you want to continue playing for the life of the franchise. Destiny's just going to get bigger and bigger with each iteration. But that said, it kind of highlights to me that this iteration of Destiny 1, is kind of more of a test bed for them to kind of get their feet wet with what exactly Destiny is first, and then whenever we see Destiny 2 come on, which may or may not be, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One exclusives from there, that would be their chance to just really let loose and have all the lessons learned from this one go full throttle into Destiny 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds beautiful. Let's frame what you just said because I want to hang it on the wall.
Yeah. Well, you got it recorded. You're good.
I'm gonna play it next week. Crimson Warlock.
I'm trying to think of a good way to word this and not sound like an elitist jerk or something, but next gen stuff's been out for a while. If you wanted one, you've had enough time to save up, hopefully, to purchase one, and it kind of sounds like they're running out of space on the PlayStation 3 and on the Xbox 360
Right.
to do stuff. It's like we can't do anything else with this unless they just make the game insanely big on those systems by adding all these extra resources. And I think that's part of the limitation too, is we have to keep the game a reasonable size for people, so it's not like they have to buy a brand new hard drive and reinstall Destiny or something.
You know what I'd like to
for
know?
these older systems.
You know what I'd like to know is, so they say that the 21% of players who are level 30 plus have 4 or fewer free spaces. I'd like to see how that cuts across next gen, last gen, and also Xbox, PlayStation. Like, I would just like to see what each of them look like, because I think that that's why they're making this departure from having the same exact game, is that there's probably a lot more people playing on next gen. I mean, personally, on my friends list, I just watched one by one people stop playing on the 360 because they picked up an Xbox One. So yeah.
Well, and they gave you plenty of time. I think it's over now, but they gave you plenty of time to get that free copy when you upgraded your gaming console too.
January.
So yeah, it ended in January. So that is what, 5 months, 4 months for the game to do that.
Months.
But
We'll just go with months.
yeah, but still, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's also making me kind of wonder, how. I know they're working on it now, but it's like how much of our Guardian is going to be able to transfer to Destiny 2. Hopefully we can have everything go over, but we might have to sacrifice a few things for new systems that will come into the game. Or
do you have an example
like
of something in mind that couldn't transfer over? Because when I look at what we've been given, armor, weapons, other, like I don't see a reason that anything couldn't go specifically, because if you're going to cut off, spaceships, I don't know, why would you cut off at spaceships?
Well, it depends on how accessible they want the old content to be, and I mean, hopefully it is, but maybe because of the direction they want to go with the game, you can't access Destiny 1 content anymore. You can bring over some of your exotics, but you'd have to load up Destiny 1, get that Galahorn to transfer it back into Destiny 2 or something. It just depends on how they want to do those systems, and just how much space and openness they're going to give these worlds. I'm hoping that when Destiny 2 comes out, that the promise of E3, this is all explorable space, can really come to fruition, and we can enjoy those type of things. But I also hope it's not that we have to sacrifice anything at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep going back and forth in my head. I mean, they have to, in my mind, let you transfer over weapons and gear. Like I feel like, how do you make people start over? You know, like okay, so if bringing your character into the next iteration of Destiny is not bringing over your weapons and armor, then what are you bringing over? You know, because that's what it comes down to. Once you have your, you know, class at whatever level, or at level 20, then your guardian becomes whatever you're holding, you know. So I don't know, like if transferring your character isn't your weapons and armor, what is it? And also, wouldn't it be so crazy if you could no longer get the gear from this first game in Destiny 2, like once Destiny 2 drops, if your account is connected to this Yellowhorn, you can have it. You can bring it into Destiny 2. Like, wouldn't that be some kind of crazy bedrock difference between between the people who've been playing and the people who aren't playing or haven't played? That would be
It would
crazy.
definitely make you a legend.
Right? That would
if
definitely
you brought
make
that, and you couldn't go have access to that type of stuff unless you played Destiny 1 and transferred it over.
Okay, so for Destiny 2, I mean, if I'm to understand, the way you're assuming is that Destiny 2 will start off with all the base Guardians being at level, level 43 or something like that. Well, do you think people just picking up Destiny 2 that have never played Destiny before are going to start with like an already vendor geared level 40 something? Or will Destiny 1 be included as part of Destiny 2's base game? Or
You know, that's I bet that's one of the hurdles they're trying to tackle right now is, you know, how do we introduce new players into this IP if they pick up the first game, or the second game? You know, I'm sure there was a larger influx of players for Halo 2 than there might have been for Halo 1, but that didn't matter because there wasn't um, a big need for a history build like there is with your Guardian and stuff in Destiny. So I'm sure that that's something that they've got to tackle to figure out, because I would like to know, you know, how do I get to, you know, level 40 whatever the light is, or level 50 if I just pick up Destiny 2? Like, what is my journey to get through that stuff?
Man, those are all good questions.
yeah.
We're running out of time though.
All right. Well, moving on. There is a important bit here where they talk about the fact that 1.1.2 is arriving in April. They say, we may not be making you as rich as Charlemagne, but those of you who have vaults that are bursting at the seams with sweet loot are in for some relief. Stand by, because update 1.1.2 arrives in April. As for what the future holds for vaults, only a time traveler would know for sure. And there's an interesting piece of concept art right there. I mean, without doubt, they're hinting at things for House of Wolves here.
Right, I agree. This is a piece of concept art that was released before the game came out. And a lot of people were talking about, is Charlemagne's vault the Vault of Glass? So I don't know. It will be interesting to see where this takes us. I'm super.
I heard you get Thorn there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't Thorn in that vault?
No, wait, I thought
way
that
back
was
when?
wasn't a sword claimed from there or something? Or no, that was an ancient grotto or something.
Yeah, that was from an ancient grotto.
Yeah, that's right. All right.
Where is Charlemagne's vault?
I think it was on Mars, but I could be
Okay.
wrong.
It was
That's what-
Mars.
Yes, yeah.
So you think we'll see like we won't see a Mars raid, will we?
Well, I don't think it's the raid. There's already been some data mine info about what the raid may or may not be, but it could be a strike though.
Stupid data mining.
Alrighty, moving on.
Moving on, they brought in senior artist David Helsby to talk about his recent GDC talk about first-person animation. He talks about the importance of how that affects your immersion in the world and how you identify with your character. It's everything from how your character moves and jumps and punches and and how you visually perceive all those things. They include a short first-person animation video here. Did any of you guys catch any of the GDC information when it came out?
No.
No.
I
Done
managed
and
to watch
done.
one or two of the streams live when it was going on. I haven't had an opportunity to look into any more since then.
I seen the thumbnail.
That's some pretty good detective work. So how did it go, Agrios?
It's a lot of technical information, but it's interesting to hear about their challenges and hurdles in the design and development process. This is getting a little bit away from this specific one I'm talking about here, but I caught one that talked a lot about the different developmental stages they went through and some difficulties they ran into when it was a little bit more of a technical one about how they would program it and how they program environments and make placeholder type environments so the designers had blocks to build with, but eventually, those blocks would all be invalidated by the next when they finally got the other systems developed that were going to actually be in the game. So it's kind of a trade-off as in how much time do you put into these things so that other people have time to build with them, knowing that those things they're building with are going to be scrapped and it's going to be done over when the final product's ready to be built with. So a lot of it's over my head, but I found the interactions between the teams and the difficulties and just the decision making in some of these things very, very interesting.
Okay, so here's my take on those things: is that one of my favorite movies growing up is this movie called Explorers, and it's about these three kids who make a spaceship and go into space and make first contact with aliens. What's that?
I remember that. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was like a ball spaceship, like a sphere. Kind of. Yep. Okay.
Totally. It absolutely shaped the way my brain works and what I want to be and what I wanted out of life. And granted, I never did any of those things, but it helped me to see that there was basically three types of it was a fire team, as a matter of fact. But there was the tough guy, there was the smart guy, and then there was the dreamer. And from watching this movie over and over and over, I recognized that I am the dreamer. And so when I watch these presentations, I just go off the deep end with what could be, and I'm not at all worried about coding it. I'm not at all worried about paying someone to make it happen. I just want to dream it up. So I really actually had to stop watching these things because every time we would get somewhere, I would think, this has got to be in the game, and that absolutely was not in the game. So I have to reel it in. I have to reel in my excitement because otherwise I dream. I dream too much. I dream too hard. So this is really cool. Did anybody else have anything to add on to this?
So secretly you're a hunter.
I didn't say skilled. I said the dreamer.
Well, if the smart guy is a warlock and the tough guy is a titan,
right? I must be the one out there with my cape like Superman.
Pushing frontier, exploring. That's kind of a dreamer type attitude. Yeah. Right.
I'll let you beat them up. I'll let you Nova bomb them, and I'll hang back and look good with these guns. Yep. Secretly, I'm the hunter. Alrighty then, moving on.
So some technical reports here. The 2.5 firmware update in the PlayStation 4 will implement a suspend and resume function on 3/26. This function will not work with Destiny at this time. Functionality for the suspend and resume feature will be enabled for the 1.1.2 update, and they give a link to read more about that feature. So that's not going to work. That update that landed this morning is not going to work for you. Until the 1.1.2 update lands in April. We discussed this before, but the Facebook and Google Plus logins no longer work for Bungie.net, and the profiles are permanently disabled. So hopefully you've linked your accounts to PSN IDs or Xbox gamer tags if you wanted to preserve those.
Sad for the people who didn't do that.
Yeah, hopefully everybody who needed to found out. I imagine I don't know if they did or not, but I would hope an email notification went out to anybody who didn't have something attached to their account. I don't know if they did or not, but I would hope they did that, because I imagine there's a lot of Halo people that maybe haven't necessarily been keeping up with the Bungie.net account and maybe don't have something like that linked yet. I'd feel bad for any of them that lost their records there.
Do you think that there's people
they
out
wouldn't
there?
have lost that.
Do you think that there's people out there who wanted to keep that stuff, but they weren't at all interested in Destiny? I mean, who here? Well, okay, so River, I know you played Halo, and then you three guys didn't, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have like
Yeah,
19
I
Halo
played
2
like
matches.
Halo 1 and Halo 2.
There you go,
but,
Jazz.
Oh my god, why?
No. I have like 19 of like Halo Reach online matches and like 19 Halo 3 matches. And I have an account that had Halo 2 matches, but it wasn't the same account that I had for Xbox 360, so I lost out on that one achievement because of that. Or that emblem that you got at the start of the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right then.
But I can tell you that even before Destiny came out, I had my Xbox 360 account connected to Bungie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if these holdouts would even care.
No.
Yeah.
If they had a previous Halo account, they probably moved over to Halo Waypoint.
Yeah, it would have been transferred over with them.
Mm-hmm. All that data that they had previously, all the way back to Halo 2, that's over there now.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Moving on.
All right, moving on. The last thing in the update we have is the movie of the week, and the title is "The Most Beautiful Crota Kill You've Ever Seen," and I got to say it hits the mark. Literally.
Did you watch it, River?
No, I didn't have a chance to take a look at that yet.
Warlock?
Pretty sweet, I guess.
You can watch it right now. It's super short. It's extremely well done. It's a Superman Crota kill.
I'll have to
Have you seen
watch it
Crimson
later.
Warlock?
No, I haven't.
Jez?
I'll watch it right now.
No.
Okay, so basically what it is it's kind of, it's almost done in like slow motion style, and there's like some really beautiful music playing in the background.
Yeah, some Enya.
And so he does. I expected it to end with the Fist of Havoc, but he does like this Fist of Havoc, and Crota turns around and chops at one of his friends, and the final punch was him punching him in his ass. And this is how he beat Crota. I don't know that beautiful would really, I wouldn't tag it beautiful, but I would definitely tag it with something like, I don't know, I can't even think of anything right now. But it definitely would not have been beautiful. It was amazing, but it was not beautiful.
Oh, no, I'm sick of the beautiful. I thought it was beautiful.
But definitely worth your time. Check it out. And moving on.
Moving on. This week, Redditor BTG7471 decided to hunt through his PlayStation 4 Destiny trophies and compiled a few interesting statistics and brought them to our attention. Only 31.1% of Guardians have ever equipped a piece of exotic gear. This is on PS4 once again, just as a note. Only 23.8% of Guardians have worn legendary/exotic armor in every slot. Only 24.2% of Guardians have earned max Vanguard marks in a week, while just 16% have maxed their Crucible marks in 1 week. Only 23.1% of Guardians have reached rank 3 with the Vanguard, and only 19.2% of Guardians have completed a raid. Only 16.9% of Guardians have maxed out a Warlock or Hunter subclass, and just 15.2% have maxed out a Titan subclass. I was kind of shocked by some of these.
Yeah, I'm super shocked by these, and River did point out on Twitter that these were only PlayStation 4, but then someone pointed out to him, and I agree with them, that it's probably about equal. Like I feel that while these may be PlayStation numbers, I don't feel like I don't feel like the difference is going to be that much. Like I don't think that we're going to see more than 10%, difference in these things. And I was shocked by these numbers too, because that means that the people who are actively playing this all the time, like that's where they're changing this up with the vault space, is because these other people are clearly not interested in playing that much. Like if you haven't equipped an exotic, like then you're not really trying to play Destiny. Like I hate to break this to you, but it's there's been how many weeks, and just randomly picking up 23 strange coins. I mean, I'm certain that if I had never played a weekly heroic, that I would have come up with at least 24 strange coins by now. So I don't know. River, anything on this?
The only thing I have is that, well, do these percentages sound small?
Yeah, to me they sound small.
Yeah, and it is the way that the author of the article put it out there. He didn't really take into consideration that whenever we're talking like 31% of people, we're talking about millions of players. We're not talking about like a couple thousand or a few 100,000. We're talking about millions of players. So it might seem like that these percentages are small, but that is a heck of a lot of people.
Some
Yeah,
may have only
17
touched
million
it.
registered people.
No, I'm not even talking about 17 registered. I'm going off of like maybe that there's 13 million active players.
Well, I mean, the trophy percentages are based off anybody who's ever put Destiny in even once. So we're looking at taking out the total number of registered users, those percentages.
But that's also considering those registered users even have an account, like a PlayStation account or an Xbox account, and we just got rid of a lot of those people that don't.
Interesting. Very interesting. Warlock.
My thoughts on a lot of this is, I wanted to talk. I think it was last week about an article that just kind of said, the reviews for Destiny came out way too early. There are people that were finally giving their review after doing the Vault of Glass just once and things like that. And, they were doing active reviews, so they were giving their opinions of the game as they were playing it. And I think just because Destiny is the best 6 out of 10 game I've ever played, it deterred a lot of people from continuing on. I wouldn't be surprised if there are a lot of people who have loaded up Destiny but don't have a Guardian above level 15, just because they heard, it doesn't get better from here, so they're not continuing on, or other things like that. And so in my mind, I think for the amount of players and the type of game that Destiny is, that's actually a pretty good amount of people who have completed some of those things. And obviously those who have stuck with the game since launch got those way early in their playing. It's it's your expectations of the game, and I think that Bungie is very proud of the numbers that they are able to watch on a weekly basis of people playing their game. So I wouldn't take the number of people percentages of who's got trophy X, Y, or Z as any indication of if this game's good or bad, but that's just me.
I want to go to Jez with this next, but I want to shout out there real quick, Matt Man. You've put a bunch of really great ideas into the chat. I would like it very much if you would send me an email with all of these items, and we will touch on it next week because we're running out of time right now. But I definitely wanted to get to some of the stuff that you've been talking about. So send it to guardian1.net@gmail.com. I think that's what it is. I'll check at the end. Jez.
That's like a special email, I guess.
Right. He got the special email. Just mail me directly.
So I think one of the reasons why the low numbers is there with games. There's a lot of people that will play a game for like a week or so and then just put it down, and those are gonna skew the stats to the negatives. When you're thinking of people that play Destiny, you're thinking of the person that's played Destiny for a while now, and I'm sure all of those are part of the 20 to 30%.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't look at the stats as being low. It's probably about average for most games. Like I was trying to find during the other answers of how many people have like completed Halo 2. The only thing I could find is do you know the sales of like Halo 4?
I do not off the top of my head.
Me
Well,
either.
the only statistic I've seen is that like something like 1 million people have completed the campaign for Halo 4, compared to probably like 10 million in sales.
That's
And
crazy.
that statistic was from November of 2014.
And that's 10%.
That's my guess. I haven't looked to
No,
see.
I'm saying using the numbers that you just presented.
Yeah, that would be 10%.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's probably what you should expect for a game.
Right. I think that Destiny's doing great in comparison to, like, they're hitting their goals right now. Everything's going according to plan, and they're happy with that. And the people who are most vocal, they just want more because they're ready. You know, they're ready for more. People are playing this, crazy amounts. I want to be playing this crazy amounts. Like I have so much more desire to play than I have actual time. So it's, I don't know. Agrios, your take, and then moving on.
I think everything that I would have to say has already been said.
Well, all right then.
I
Moving
don't
on.
have anything to add to that. And also that pretty much that wraps up everything I have for the news this week.
Good deal. Well, then, before we get out of here, I wanted to take an opportunity to read some feedback that we've had on our videos.
Yay.
So this was on episode 28. Scufter says, "Nice podcast, guys. I hope Bungie takes note of what you guys chat about and learn what the general public enjoy and have problems with so they can keep improving the game. Cheers." Thank you very much, Scufter. I'm very glad that you are enjoying this podcast. It's a great joy to put on, and I hope they're listening too. And at the same time, I kind of hope that they're not. It's we're kind of rough with them. Like, as much as I feel like we could just be selling the game for them because we love it and we want it to be more. At the same time, we kind of just say to them, make it happen.
Tough love.
Exactly, tough love. And I think that that's something that they like. So thank you very much for your comment. And guys, if you have anything to say, just jump on in. But I want to make sure that I get to some of these. So thank you, Scufter. Stone Osborne says, "Let me get on this. I'm funny and know all the ins and outs of Ikora. If you know what I'm saying. Well, Stone, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you should come on the show and not talk about that."
Good plan.
It would be great, though. I would very much like to have people on the show that are not, like Destiny author. Like I love having him on the show, and I want to have many other people from the community on the show. But yeah, so let's get this guy on there. And then on the next video, the same guy says, "F yeah, another one. Thank you." That's a great reply. Steve says Xbox One, and he tells me that he has a Titan 32, Warlock 31, and Hunter 31. I'm going to add you on the Xbox One, and we're going to play Destiny. It's going to be awesome. Robbie Deer says, I always run my Nightfalls on Tuesday on Xbox One. If you are down, we sometimes knock the weekly in tandem. I'm not on when it resets, just the next day after I get off work, 6 p.m. Central. So yeah, I would love to get my Nightfalls done on Tuesday night because the night they drop, I'm on PlayStation. So that would be great, and I look forward to getting those done with you. Let's see. Robbie Deer also comments a comment to the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 thing. I own both, and my PS4 runs louder than the Xbox. I think you may have a blind hate for the Xbox, Remy. Lol. So you know what's funny about this? I read this comment and I thought to myself, I love the Xbox, and I think that the reason I've been bagging on it this last couple of weeks is because I had really high hopes for it. I mean, I'm not certain why I had really high hopes for it, but I love Xbox. I love my Xbox 360. Like I love it like I loved my Dreamcast. I loved my Dreamcast. Never wanted another Sega system in my whole life. Hated Sega my whole life until Dreamcast came out, and then they can it. Then they can it. What is wrong with you people? This is the best thing you've ever done. I don't know. I'm going to go play Seaman after this show is done because it was awesome. But no, I was actually talking about the rumble part of the controller. The Xbox One's motor is louder than the PlayStation 4. You're probably right. Sometimes the PlayStation 4 is loud, but I have the Xbox One in the cabinet, so I can't really hear it. Riley Hall says, yes, been hanging for this episode. It shall get me through the rest of the week. Thanks, guys. Keep it up. I really enjoy this kind of comment. You know, just a little nudge saying, you know, this is cool and I like what you're doing. I mean, when I see that, we have, over 100 views, I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm working hard at getting this onto iTunes so we can also pick up this share of the market as well. So thank you, Riley Hall. Amuscus says, I honestly think Destiny 2 would not have the same areas. They will want to have memory space saved for new content and opportunities. If people want to go back to those areas, they can go back and play Destiny 1. I think we will have a new area of Earth to explore in Destiny 2. Why just bring back where we already been when the game design is for exploring new areas? I really don't want to spend 300 hours patrolling Old Russia again. Old Chicago could be the new Earth area in Destiny 2. Just my thoughts. This is something that we've been debating for a while, and the way you put it, yeah, I can't imagine that anybody on the panel really wants to spend 300 hours patrolling Old Russia again. River, I don't think that you were here when we last talked about this. Do you think that they're going to have all of the same areas in Destiny 2, or do you think that they're going to leave that in the past?
I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. They could go both ways. They could say something happened in the narrative, and Destiny 1 is just everything in Destiny 1 is just not going to be part of the next thing, or they can do what I'm hoping and just implement every single new iteration together in some sort of seamless package to where we can travel in between each one without even knowing it. But that, I think I had high hopes for a lot of things before Destiny came out.
Yeah, I hear that. And you know what? This is a really good point. Like being able to go back and see your old stomping grounds. Like, I can't imagine anyone would be interested in going and spending more time patrolling Old Russia again. But at the same time, it's familiarity. It's where you used to live. It's like when you live at one place and you move down the street and then you don't see that area for a couple of years, and then you see it again and there's different construction and you're like, oh, well, this is the same place, but it's different. So I don't know. Crimson Warlock, you got anything to add to this?
I actually wanted to just add something to the previous person before this one. And just, thanks for saying those things. There's times where, I always wonder, do people listen to us, on YouTube or other stuff? I don't check the site like I should, but there's times where I'm like, it'd be really nice to be, I guess, is not not to take away from them or to be a rival or anything, but like it'd be nice to be as big as Guardian Radio and have a whole bunch of people here live to listen to us. But it's very comforting to hear that people enjoy listening to us and that they do. They just might not be able to make it live, but they listen to the YouTube broadcast of it or other areas. So just thanks for commenting and giving us a pat on the back, because it certainly is nice to hear that we do a good job.
Right? It definitely goes a long way. I agree. Jez, anything to add to this?
So Cynic Mode about all the all the going back to old places. When have Bungie said that they don't like to reuse places they've been to before?
I'm
Because we keep going back to the same places in Destiny.
right. Why would they get rid of it?
Yeah, why would they not have a reason to go back to the old places? That way they don't really have to create new geometry. They just update the current and add new enemies, maybe a new missile here and there or something stuck in the ground.
Right, or they unlock a certain door, or I don't know. I could see that. That's a really great thought.
Imagine at the end of Destiny 1, the cutscene, they start opening the door and then it goes black and credits.
Yep, I hear that. Agrios.
So, how long do we think, or do you think, or how long are they going to support Destiny 1? And when I say support, I don't mean support as in work on. I mean as in, how long are you going to be able to turn on Destiny 1 and continue to play it? Will you be able to play it for the entire 10 years? Will it, at some point, like many of the other online-only games, is it going to drop off before the end of that 10 years?
Okay, so this is a really good question. And I think that because we have Destiny 1 on next gen, it really makes sense to just keep adding to it. Like if Destiny was only on last gen and it wasn't on next gen, I could see there being something, a amount of work involved in moving it to the next system. But because we've already got a version on the next system, I feel like it would be really easy to do exactly what you guys were saying, like just add something to, make it different. The same place you've been a million times that they played in for 5 years before they released the game. Just changing it, I could definitely see that.
So my thoughts, I guess, to answer the question before I posed another one, I think this couples with what we were talking about before, is how is Destiny 2 going to handle it? Are the people like coming in, are they just going to get a set of level 40 whatever the current light cap is, vendor gear, and like their choice of a base, one vendor weapon that's available at the time, and go from there? Or I was thinking this would kind of be a unique way of handling it. You could simply give everyone who buys a copy of Destiny 2 a copy of Destiny 1 and say there's where you get started.
Yeah, I could see that. So yeah, Amuscus, very good question. Thanks for writing to us. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Richard Bacon says, I may be the odd one out. I'm trying to be minimalist and don't really require a bigger vault space. And I am jealous of your minimalist thoughts because I definitely need a bigger vault, and I don't know. I definitely need a bigger vault. I'm jealous that you don't care about the bigger vault. He also adds, I've had the voice options since day one thanks to the Xbox One headset adapter, which lets you adjust voice over game levels. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, you guys listen to me here in my PlayStation talk. But Xbox One just added screenshots just now. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like when I found out that it just was added recently, I don't know. It just made me think, what the hell was going on over there? Come on.
Sony didn't even really think that screenshots was going to be as big of a deal as it turned into.
Did they not?
No,
Which
they
blows
didn't.
my mind.
Right, it blows
Anybody
my
would
mind too.
That's the thing. From a developer standpoint, they didn't think it was going to be all that important or all that cool to us. But Microsoft saw how big it blew up, and they said, you know what, we should get onto this too.
Wouldn't it be crazy if PlayStation was like internal memos were like, oh, this screenshot's not going to blow up, and that's what got leaked to Xbox people, and then Xbox people were like, well, if Sony doesn't care about it, then we don't have to care about it either.
That's quite a PR way
Remy
of putting it.
demonizing
Trevor.
the Xbox again. They're like enemy agents or stuff.
Right? Right?
Spy versus spy.
We're laughing about it, but I don't know. Why not? Like...
Oh wait, no. Last time it was you thought there were enemy PlayStation agents infiltrating Xbox to screw up their controller design.
Right?
That's what it was.
Right? So this is totally not even that far-fetched. Thank you for writing in, Richard Bacon, and that's very cool.
I want to add my 2 cents in really quick here, and all I have to say is I am thankful that whatever flavor of console you play on, at least it has the opportunity to evolve and change and upgrade itself. Because now we can all enjoy some of the same features. Might take longer than others, but at least they can improve.
And then the last comment is from Robbie Deer, who says, kind of sad this game wouldn't let you adjust in-game NPC voices over the music. My particular setup made it difficult to hear the conversations in-game. I remember it really irritating me until I realized how shallow the story actually was. Glad they are adding it in, but I'm also using a headset currently. Definitely recommended. Once I picked up this PlayStation Gold headset, it was night and day. The game totally transformed into something much more different and much more, I don't know, I feel like it's much more in depth. I feel like I'm transported to a different place when I play it on the headset because the audio is so rich. But yeah, so there we have it. There, I actually have more comments to read that I will get to next week. But we are out of time currently. So does anyone have anything else they wanted to bring up before we go to shoutouts?
Yeah.
Alrighty then. No.
Yeah, I do.
What is
I find your lack of faith disturbing. For the Xbox One.
I mean,
That's all.
I really do love Xbox. Like, if I was to get a tattoo, it certainly would not have been a PlayStation.
I heard.
I love.
I listen.
Remy used to watch himself and not be too hard on Xbox, but ever since he bought one, it's like he has license to just tear him to pieces now.
Oh, I know.
Right? I just feel like there should have been so much more to this system. Like what a letdown after coming off of the Xbox 360. I enjoy it and I play it, but man, oh man, it was definitely not the same team, or I don't know.
No. It was the same team, but what it is that Bungie, since they helped design the controller that you pointed out, they did help design the PlayStation 4 controller to play what game?
Yeah, Destiny.
That's right. That controller is pretty much built to play Destiny.
Right. The only game I've really been playing besides Destiny is Tennis in the Face. And I tell you what, that is fun. 10 or 15 minutes at a time, Tennis in the Face is amazing. But you're right.
That's all I got for you, Remy.
It is the Destiny station. That's what I've been calling it for a while. So yeah, I look forward to enjoying my Xbox One more, but I don't know. It still feels kind of jumpy, like when you get a new computer and it's super fast, but it's still kind of glitchy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about either.
I just got a broken one. All right, so that is the end of our show. Shoutouts, Agrios.
I'd like to shout out this week to N7 Strider. He's one of the newer members of Guardian 1. He liked how we were with us a bunch. And after he joined up, he went and found someone new to the forums that just said something like, I'm new, help. And went and took that. They had never raided, never gotten exotic, never did a bunch of the things in the game. Spent the day getting them through raids, getting them their first exotic and whatnot. And just wanted to give a shout out to him for being an awesome Guardian 1 member.
Right? What an awesome story, and what a very cool guy. I really appreciate it. I love the idea behind what it is that Guardian 1 is trying to do, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the day when I have more time to lead from the front. But right now, I'm really hoping that other people like this N7 Strider step up and really push it, because there's just so much that can be done. There's so much that I want to do. There's so much that should be done. And until I have more time, I'm at the mercy of the breeze. So yes, thank you very much, N7 Strider. Jez.
Shout out to Deej for putting up with the community. I mean, it's a great community, but there's a lot of stuff, and he has shown great restraint.
You know what? I like how most everything that comes out of Bungie or Deej, specifically those two, I like how everything is almost an unchallengeable statement. Like they don't go out and tell people how they should feel. They just put a lot of facts out, and they kind of let the facts do the talking for them, even when it's something, like when they have to deliver bad news. Like this is only as big as we're going to be able to make the vault, but they don't knock anybody down personally. I don't know. I feel like they handle themselves really well. So great shout out, Jez. Thank you very much. Crimson Warlock.
Tonight I want to shout out to the Dads of Destiny clan. I've been thinking a lot about them and just kind of wondering if I hadn't been welcomed by you, Remy, into Guardian 1, I think I'd be part of the Dads of Destiny. And it's really fun to see them stream. And there's just such a great group. So I'm just going to shout out to them tonight. And what a great community of gamers they are.
That's awesome. That's a really great shout out. I'm a member. I signed up to be part of their group too, because being a dad, having them I don't know, I know that I can talk to them and turn to them from a dad's point of view, and how super sweet that is. And it actually crossed my mind, Warlock, when we were first holding our sessions, it occurred to me that we are all fathers, and that would be a very cool box to draw around us. But when I think about the overall theme of Guardians helping Guardians, I think that this transcends being a father. I didn't want to draw any line in the sand that wasn't wanting to help somebody else or wanting help yourself. Because this is what Guardian 1 is I want people who want to help other people, and I want people who want help. Like that is the qualifications for being part of this group. Is you either want help and want to play with other Guardians who want to help, or you want to help other Guardians. And I think that casts the net so wide. And it's one of the reasons why I just let anybody sign on and be part of this group and represent Guardian 1, is because it's not something that everyone's going to want to be part of. It's a very special thing to be vulnerable and say I need help, and to reach out for it, or to say, you know what, I have a secret for you. Let's go raid. Or like helping people out. I don't know. It's just really awesome. But great shout out. Dads of Destiny are awesome. River.
I want to give a huge thank you to the illustrious Bell Bunny for taking my place for these past couple weeks. And if any of you guys wanted to really know what I thought about some of the things that were discussed on the previous podcast, Bell Bunny is actually a very good representation of my views on a lot of things that you guys talked about. It's really like I was really there, because whenever I was listening to the podcast, I was like, man, Bell makes a really good point. I totally agree with what Bell is saying right now. it's really just like as if I was still there. And
That's awesome.
and one of the things I wanted to let her know, she probably doesn't know this, but whenever she first came on to Guardian One podcast that first time, I remember talking to you, Remy. I was like, "Hey, man, she was really great on the podcast. I think we should pick her up.
Right.
I really think that she would be a good addition to the podcast." And I think we were just a little too slow on the gun. Because then Guardian Radio picked her up not long after.
Yeah.
But, she's doing such a great job on Guardian Radio, and Dames is becoming so successful. And I'm just really glad that she listens in on the podcast and, keeps us going too. So a big thank you to you, Bill. Really appreciate you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. and not having you on the show is, to me, it's difficult because I lean on you a lot. Like I know that you either absolutely agree with me or you have your own opinion altogether. And so just asking her things is the same exact way. Like you guys fill the same frequency range as far as wanting to talk, having opinions about stuff. It is really a very good river placeholder.
She's good at it, man. I'm telling you.
So yeah, you know what? That's what you should do from now on is don't worry about telling me. Don't worry about telling me that you can't get there. Just contact Belle and be like, hey, I need to call out.
Can you cover for me?
Right?
I'll cover for you on Guardian Radio.
That would be awesome.
Oh, it would.
I'll just throw this out then. I'm not going to be here next week. So, Belle, if you want to take my place next week, you can.
Yes. I was hoping that me and her could be on a podcast again.
Actually, unless something changes, Crimson Warlock, next week I'm going to have my dad on the show.
Oh, never mind.
Yep, never mind. There you go.
But that's not to say, Jez could fall ill or get stuck in the snow. So, yeah, it's crazy up there in Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now it's
True.
quite warm, and we're starting to lose the snow, but that's probably not for long.
All right. And my shout out goes to Xbox One user Link Goes Hard. I needed the hard mode Gorgon checkpoint last week, and I was sad that I missed it at the turnover. And basically right at the last minute, he hopped on and gave it to me, and I thanked him profusely because on the Xbox I definitely need shards and materials. So thank you very much, Link Goes Hard. accurate
That he does.
Yeah. So so awesome. Well, that is our show. I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.
Later.